bookmaker.eu, where it's always free to open an account.
Hey, let's talk some Thanksgiving Day football. I'm Pat Williams with Kenny White. Of course, Detroit hosting one of the games. But, Kenny, they got the Texans coming to town. And we've got Houston, a 3-point road favorite. 49 is the total. Let's start with Houston. Boy, emotionally draining after that huge OT victory versus the Jaguars.
I don't know if it was emotionally draining. I think they came out and went through the motions, knowing they were playing the worst team in the league.
But how about it, though? Still, you got to win those types of games. Nobody expected that much scoring on Sunday.
No, well, with Houston's offense, they're very methodical, and their defense is great. They'd only given up 15 points in the previous 2 games combined, and now they're playing Jacksonville, one of the worst offenses.
All right, let's talk about the number 3 short week. How does Houston go about approaching this game, now 9-1 on the season?
Well, looking at Green Bay was 3 over Detroit last week, and they had about 8 injuries that were very key to their team and still won the game. Detroit really lost the game. It wasn't Green Bay winning the game. Now this Detroit team in last place in the division with too many teams to go over, and they're 0-4 in the division. They lose all tiebreakers. I think they had their heart ripped out of them. Houston, Gary Kubiak's done a nice job with this club. I think they bounce back in a big way this week. National television, they want to show what they're made of.
Detroit has to be emotionally wrecked after, I got to say, losing the game versus Green Bay. Had their chances late, but just could not get over the hump.
Well, the big thing, I think, with Detroit is 41 touchdown passes from Stafford last year, and he was hitting Megatron. I don't know how many touchdowns Megatron had. I didn't look it up, 15 or something like that. This year, I think they've only connected 3 times for a touchdown. These two need to be scoring every week for Detroit to be successful.
Does Detroit bounce back, or have they thrown it in now? Playoffs look like probably no shot for them this
last
season.
week I loved Detroit. I thought it was their season. I thought their season was on the line. They had to win that game. And whenever you get that scenario and you lose, I think the next week you lose all focus and no time to prepare for this week. I think they're going to be in a disarray.
You like Houston laying the
I like
3.
Houston minus the 3.
He's Kenny White. On Pat Williams. Hey, let's go out to Brian Blessing and Todd Furman and see what they're thinking about a whole bunch of turkeys out there in Dallas.
NFC East Thanksgiving football. It's Washington at Dallas, blood rivalry. RG3 gets his first taste of it. The number, we're looking at 3 minus a quarter. We'll likely see a lot of 3.5s as well. Total on the game is 47.5. Todd Washington comes into this game off a very solid effort against Philadelphia, but take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, RG3 was tremendous with his efficiency in the passing game, utilizing both the intermediate and deep balls to keep the Eagles' defense honest. The real key, though, for Washington is establishing that run, and I think Dallas is going to have to focus on Alfred Morris, force the young quarterback to be one-dimensional in this contest if they want to try and get a lead early and force the Skins to play from behind.
And let's talk about the Cowboys, a lackluster effort. They found a way to get by the Cleveland Browns. But the one thing that's a constant, they continue to struggle running the football. 83 yards a game is just not going to get it done. And Romo is on the cliff of getting killed because that offensive line's a nightmare.
Yeah, he was under duress the entire game against the Browns. And you make a great point, Brian. The one thing we've seen with Dallas, this team is awful when they're favorites. They just don't cover numbers. And as this number starts to approach 3 and a hook, you'll see it go over the field goal. How do you trust Dallas, who always plays down or up to their level of competition, when they need to go out there and win by at least over a field goal?
And, you know, knowing this rivalry in the game hovering around a key number, the thing would be Dallas is a very public team. But at some point, does this come down officially to 3?
I'd be surprised if you see that. I think there is some love for RG3 out there, but still plenty of reservations about a Redskins defense giving up about 25 points per game. Dallas should have some success throwing the football, and I think DeMarco Murray, that'll be the real injury to keep your eye on. If he can go, he gives Dallas a dynamic they've desperately lacked over the last 3 or 4 games.
You know, we talk about databases and sample sizes, and the kid's just getting his career on track. He was so well prepared with so much time to get ready for New Orleans in the opener. You wonder, a young quarterback, and obviously he's been spectacular, but a young quarterback in a short work week, you wonder if that might not pose some problems.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. When you talk about a game plan, trying to construct it against a division rival, we know Dallas probably has one of the best defenses, not only in the division, but in the entire NFC when they're playing to their capabilities. Who knows, though? Maybe RG3 takes some of that momentum from the solid effort against Philadelphia, couple that with the game against Baylor, and you never know what he's capable of trying to put together on the holiday.
All right, it's going to be interesting. Thanksgiving Day, NFC East, it's the big rivalry game with Washington heading to Jerry's World to take on the Cowboys.
Kenny, an interesting choice for the Thanksgiving nightcap. We've got the Jets hosting the Patriots. An interesting movement on these numbers. New England opened 7, 50.5 was the total. Now New England 6, 49.5. Let's start with just the numbers. Where do you see this game closing, side and or total?
Oh, I think 6 it will be the closer on the side. A lot of money for the underdog early rivalry game. The total, we're going to check the weather. If the weather's okay, we don't have any wind, that's all we have to worry about. I think the total goes back up to 50, 51.
Let's start with New England. Really impressive in their victory over the Indianapolis Colts. This total getting bet down was a little shocking to me, mainly because they went over in 8 straight. It doesn't matter who they play, good, bad, or indifferent. This team goes over the posted total.
You know, years ago when I first started in the business, there was a trend out there that you would bet against a team who scored more than 90-plus points in their previous 3 games. The New England Patriots have scored 141 in their last 3 games. That trend would be blowing up right now.
All right. Say what you want. Gronk's out. I've heard some chatter about this really affects this team in the red zone. Yes, he's a big red zone target, but it's Tom Brady and the Patriots. Doesn't he figure out who to get the ball to?
Well, I've always said that running backs and wide receivers are a dime a dozen. It's the quarterback who makes those guys such great players. Peyton Manning has made the Denver Broncos offensive line one of the tops in football, and they were one of the worst last year. It's the quarterback who means everything.
The Jets, really a sucker public play, I think, on Sunday. The Jets getting 3.5 in St. Louis. That line, obviously wrong. Does this team bring any steam into this game?
Oh, they have to. They're still with a losing record at 4-6, and this is one of their biggest rivalry. Rex Ryan just hates Belichick. They hate the Patriots. You know they're going to come with a great effort here in this football game. And again, boy, the Patriots have been on fire, but this is one of the best defenses they've faced in a while.
All right, I'm going to put my square hat on.
Okay.
How do you not take New England if it's less than 7 points?
You don't take New England because they've been so hot and they've been on fire. Short week, traveling to New York. You know, Belichick's probably the best at doing it, but this is going to be a closer football game. There is definite value with a home dog.
He's Kenny White. I'm Pat Williams. From our families to yours, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
You can check the current lines on your smartphone or any other mobile device at bookmaker.eu.